Welcome back, everyone. It's time for our next keynote session. This is with Kevin Fleet, Vice President, Technical Sales, Strategy and Operations at Informatica. Our subject is how to fuel relevant, responsible and robust AI with AI-ready data. Kevin, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, very, very welcome indeed. Now, data has just been an ongoing discussion point through the whole show. As I'm sure you've seen, it seems to be the foundation for pretty much every discussion we've had. So very much the floor is yours and look forward to your presentation.
Super. And it is great to be here and great to chat with everybody today. Data certainly is critical to AI success. And I'm going to talk today a bit about why I certainly think it is in my over 25 years now of experience in the data management industry. I'm certainly not an AI expert by any means, but I am a data management expert. And what I've been seeing is the huge impact that AI and Gen AI is having and is going to have in the future. And so I'm going to talk a bit about that impact and some of the common pitfalls and things that we're seeing. In my role at Informatica, I get to engage with all sorts of different organizations across all industries, all shapes and sizes, and we're certainly seeing some really interesting things as folks are beginning to adopt AI and Gen AI initiatives. There's a really important role that data management plays in fueling AI and AI applications. We'll talk about that. And then this concept of AI-ready data and what does that mean? AI-ready data is critically important, and we're going to talk about that. And then give you a little bit of context around the role Informatica can play in your path to AI success. So that's the topics. A lot to cover in just under 20 minutes. So we'll get right to it. I don't think I need to convince anyone at this point at how important AI is and the future opportunities. You know, we are already seeing huge efficiency gains where AI is being adopted for things like automation tools for jobs and productivity savings, time savings, and most importantly, profitable growth. And that opportunity is what so many organizations now are going after. And so it's clearly top of mind. I don't think that's news to anybody. But what I wanted to do before we dive into really the meat of the presentation is do a quick kind of thought exercise and experiment. And if you're like me, you may have used ChatGPT, one of the now, I think, 200 million monthly users that are out there using ChatGPT. When it first came out, I was like, okay, this is this really interesting, powerful technology. So why don't I use it to help plan my itinerary for a European vacation? And it just so happened that we were taking our daughter to Europe to celebrate her graduation from college. And I thought rather than going through the effort myself, what I would usually do is scour different websites and try to find the right sort of itinerary that would fit what we were looking to do. I essentially asked ChatGPT to do it. And it came up with some really great recommendations and some nice itineraries for us across all the cities that we visited. So I was thinking like, well, what if you built a model and use that model to essentially decide for you where you ought to go, right? And what would you want that model to be trained on? You'd want it to be trained on relevant data around the different destinations that are out there, the types of activities in the different destinations, things like how busy are certain places at different times of the year, how expensive is it, what are the costs for lodging, for airfare, what are the exchange rates, what type of food is there, and you'd want to learn all those things or teach your model about all those things based on some data, but also you want to have it reflect your preferences and the preferences of yourself and your family, right? So imagine if you did that and you built this model, but then, you know, what happens when Maybe you forgot to train the model on what was going on environmentally. Perhaps you wanted to go to the beaches in Spain, and there was an oil spill and all the beaches were closed. And you get to your destination, you can't actually spend any time on the beach. Or you didn't factor in that your kids don't really like going to museums, and the model recommended that you go on a tour of the beautiful art in Paris, but that wasn't really something your kids wanted to do. Or perhaps you got the exchange rate wrong and you used old exchange rates, and now this trip to England that you thought would be really inexpensive ends up being very expensive. So, there's impacts to this vacation based on not having quite the right set of information and set of data. If we get it all right, then we end up in this beautiful place and have a great time. We get it wrong, it impacts our family and us. And those are important impacts, but not like, it's not changing the course of your business. There's not a huge financial implication to it. Although that's an inconvenience for us in our personal life, it's not really, catastrophic to a business per se. What we're seeing now as AI has been unleashed in different business models, what we're seeing is huge impacts that are happening to companies. And it's because bad data leads to bad AI. And whether it's a chatbot that's being tricked into maybe swearing at customers, or a chatbot that actually gets tricked into selling a Chevy truck for $1, which is something that actually has happened, if you can believe it. There are big impacts that are happening. And what I want to spend a couple minutes talking about is what happened at Zillow, because I think this is a really fascinating example. So Zillow had a business they started up called Zillow Offers. Zillow Offers ended up being Zillow's highest revenue part of their business. Zillow Offers was buying homes directly from homeowners, using an AI model to evaluate the resale value of that home, and using that to make an offer on a house with the intent of reselling it later. The only problem is their model was vastly overestimating the resale value of these homes to the tune of $300 million. So over $300 million. When they realized the problem, not only did Zillow have to write down that $300 million, it cost them over $8 billion in market capitalization. So the value of Zillow dropped by $8 billion, as well as the 2,000 people that then lost their jobs because that part of their business was shut down. That's not even the most interesting part of the story. The most interesting part of the story is Zillow wasn't new to AI. They've been doing AI since 2016. They had a product called, and they still do, called a Zestimate, where they had an AI model and have one that estimates the value of home sale prices. They refined that model to the point that it was correct within 5% of the value, which is really, really accurate. So what happened? Well, what happened was when they start up this new business line, they build a new model, and they train that model on a different library to use to drive their statistical analysis. And it turns out that miscalculation was unseen and unexpected. And that's what resulted in this $300 million issue. Now, think about it, right? This is a company that's been doing AI for a long time. If it can happen to Zillow, it can happen to anybody. So you've got to be really careful in thinking about how the data that you're using is used by your AI models, and ensuring that it doesn't create these kind of unexpected events. So what we're seeing is, these sorts of roadblocks are being encountered across the board, whether it's quality of data or data privacy, and there's all sorts of concerns about it. And why is that? Well, it's because there's a problem. And I believe the problem is people are spending so much of their time in AI focusing on the model. They're not spending enough time focusing on the data. So this is a diagram of like a typical data science project workflow. And you would expect that 60% of the effort and time is actually spent on the data analysis, the data exploration, understanding what data you have. Is it right? Do you need to cleanse it? that set of work should take about 60% of the time. But what we're finding and what we're seeing in practice is most of the time and effort and focus has been on the model. Why is that? That's kind of the new sexy, shiny thing, right? It's the new technology that everybody wants to invest in. Yet that upfront data analysis and governance of the data and procurement of that data is the thing that really drives the success or failure of your initiative. So data management really should be the supercharger for your data science and your AI project, but folks are not spending enough time on it. So if you do it right, what does that look like? Well, if you do it right, you have AI-ready data that fuels relevant, responsible, and robust AI. And by relevant, what we mean there is having AI-ready data that's accurate and transparent, it's contextual. You've got universal metadata, a foundation of metadata, which is so important. If it's responsible, you know that it's governed and you can trust that your data is secure, aligned to standards, so that your AI that you deliver is compliant and private and unbiased. If it's robust, it's ready and complete. And at enterprise scale, you can be resilient and make AI more powerful and reliable. So that's what we mean in terms of the importance of having AI-ready data. But what do you need then to ensure your data is ready for AI? The capabilities that you need are supporting the relevant, responsible, and robust AI. From a relevance perspective, you need to be able to ensure that you can profile and visualize your data, have a catalog that will enable stewardship and data lineage, understanding where data started and what happened to it and where did it end up and how is it being used, to be able to explain and have metrics around understanding where your data is used and how it's used. From a responsible perspective, ensuring that you have the right access enabled for the right people and that folks aren't getting access to data they shouldn't have access to, being able to anonymize data and detect drift and bias. From a robust perspective, you've got to have the capabilities to manage data quality, not just once, but on an ongoing basis, to establish golden records for things like customers and vendors and suppliers and products and all the things that you need to ensure that your data is consistent, that your data is available and highly performant, and that you can manage the life cycle of data as it evolves over time. And so think of this as like, this is the cheat sheet saying, do I have these capabilities and can I then ensure that my data is AI ready? So where does Informatica fit? Well, Informatica really is your path to providing AI ready data for your enterprise. We are the only AI powered data management platform in the industry. And we look at data management and AI in two really important ways. And at the center of it is our AI engine, Claire. At the center of our platform is Claire, which allows us to not only enable the fueling of relevant and responsible and robust AI using our intelligent data management cloud. So a cloud platform that provides all of those data management capabilities that you need to get your data AI ready. But it also allows you to simplify data management itself through AI and Gen AI, and now a natural language interface that will really open up the capabilities and what's possible. So how does that all work? Well, the way we've architected our platform is we have an intelligent data management cloud, which spans all of the capabilities that you need to be able to efficiently and effectively manage data across your enterprise and provide the data you need to have relevant, responsible, and robust AI. And the way we do that is because we have literally trained our AI model on over 90 trillion customer transactions that occur every month. So we have this super set of knowledge about how data is being used, not just within your enterprise, but within all the other enterprises that are customers of Informatica. And understanding those patterns of use allow us to make really efficient and effective and insightful recommendations about how you should be managing your data and how you could, for example, understand and infer data about source systems that you're bringing into your environment for an application, for example, understanding and inferring and making recommendations around data profiling, or whether it be that or data governance and data stewardship and master data and lineage. So all of those things that are made so much more efficient by having an additional engine of AI behind you in all that you do. And so what has taken that now to the next level is this GPT interface that we provide, which adds tremendous value. So think of it as now a single way to interface into your entire set of enterprise data through a very conversational type of interface. So anything from asking about what the product can do and how to use it, to asking data discovery type questions to understand, well, for example, what sort of tables do we have in our ecosystem that contain customer information? And then not only that, having a contextual reference point so that you could then ask, well, then for the customers that we have, how many have purchased from us in certain geographic locations, and what type of product have they purchased? And then taking that even a step further, without even having to write any code, being able to essentially create data products inside of your enterprise by creating mappings and applying business logic to then create these data products that can be visible inside of a catalog and accessible to everyone in your enterprise. And so what Claire GPT has done is it has really opened up the accessibility of data and all of the power of our entire platform, coupled with knowledge of all the information within your enterprise. So we're really excited about this, and this is, I think, something that's going to be incredibly valuable to our customers both now and in the future. So just finally, in terms of why Informatica, we have the best data management products in the industry. We have re-architected our platform completely now in the cloud. We lead in every category across the board in terms of data management, and we've been doing AI for over a decade, and now that is accessible through our platform in a really powerful way. The other thing that is so powerful is the way we license usage of our platform. It's all consumption-based, so what you may need to use today is going to change over time, and you can flexibly and seamlessly use all the capabilities of our platform with a single licensing model that's extremely flexible. And then finally, we are the broadest in terms of connections and supporting the different ecosystems out there. We're multi-vendor, multi-cloud, and hybrid, and can enable any variety and combination of environments and architectures that our customers have and need to support. So if you're interested in learning more about how ready are you, we offer an AI readiness assessment where we can look at what kind of activities and use cases you have, help you build out a heat map to understand where the opportunities are inside your organization, and then be able to give you some recommendations for where you ought to move forward. So if you're interested in that, definitely contact me or reach out to your Informatica representative. And if you are looking to connect, you can find me on LinkedIn. I also listed out here a few books that I've written over the years and resources that you may find helpful. So with that, I think we may have time for a few minutes of Q&A.
Kevin, thank you for that, and thank you for picking up from that technical hitch halfway through as well. I think we got it together seamlessly in the end. The key questions for me, and I always try to be the audience member in the room here, is I'm sure there are plenty of organizations who think, yep, our data's on point, we're organized, we know what we're doing, but they could actually have some pretty bad data stashed away under the hood. They just don't realize it. For you, what are the telltale signs of having bad data?
Wow. Well, what I find fascinating is sometimes the complexity is a bit hidden because the folks at the executive level, if you think about how they go about their day, right? They may ask for some information, but what they don't see is all of the work that happens under the covers in order to make that possible. And so they don't see the fact that it takes perhaps 5 or 10 analysts working together across different business units or lines of business to cobble together the right set of information that they need. They don't see the complexity is often hidden, and until you are able to just surface things up in a really transparent way, you don't always know that. And so what we do in many cases is we provide, like, our data quality capabilities will provide quality dashboards to let people understand within certain parameters and have a dashboard to show metrics on how good or bad is our data quality, and are we able to continually improve that through governance and stewardship and those sorts of things. So I think a lot of times, the trick is making it visible, and by having some metrics around things like what your data quality looks like helps you improve.
The last point I'll make is a big theme that's come up quite a few times within the show today is the pace of change. People often feel like they're under pressure. There's the fear of messing out. They want to be at the cutting edge. They might be rushing into some Gen AI based transformations. Do you feel some people may be missing out on that crucial step of making sure their data house is in order, if you will, before making that step? How crucial do you feel that is to really make the most out of that transformation?
Well, I think it's incredibly important. I think that this pressure to move quickly opens up organizations to all sorts of risk, right? And the risk comes from, like, some of the examples that I gave, where you may think that this application of AI or Gen AI will have all this business value associated with it, but you got to think about what's the risk if we get it wrong. And what's really fascinating, what's happening right now, is because of the emphasis on AI and this opportunity that's out there, these tend to be a lot of, like, top-down initiatives that are coming from the board and the executive levels inside of organizations. And so with that comes funding and a willingness to invest. I think the opportunity for data leaders is to capitalize on that opportunity and to recognize that if I can get in front of these AI projects and I can help educate them a bit on the importance of data in their success, you then can think about, well, then what sort of investments should we be making from a data and data infrastructure perspective, from a data quality perspective, data governance, all those things we're going to need to not just build this thing one time, but have a sustainable capability. Because there's, if there's one AI project today, I guarantee you there's going to be 10 next year, and there's going to be 20 or 30 more after that. And so you've got to think about having a sustainable capability that you can provide AI-ready data to these applications in a consistent, repeatable way over time. And it takes some investment. And I think that investment what's really been, it's that infrastructure you need to do that has been underinvested chronically in so many organizations. And now is the opportunity for the data leaders inside of companies to say, look, we've got these high visible, high profile AI initiatives. Let's get in front of those and make sure that we're investing appropriately for the data infrastructure that we need.
Absolutely. And as you say, bad data leads to bad AI. And if I was putting together a range of branded mugs for Technology Magazine, that is one of the quotes I would very much like on it. Kevin Fleet, thank you so much for joining us today. Really enjoyed your company.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.